I wanted to bring a storytelling club to Kilcullen. I wasn't aware of one until actually this afternoon, with people telling stories in the area, and a vehicle for people to come and hear stories, and if they want to tell stories that they have from their own families, their own lives, or indeed stories they've heard in the past. So a monthly storytelling group would meet here, or maybe other cafes in the area, and we'll have an open mic in the first half where people will be able to tell stories, and in the second half we'll probably have a guest storyteller come and give us stories from all around the world. So, without further ado, can I introduce Fiona Dowling from Dowling.
Good evening, everybody. 18 years ago, I was a student in Paris in the Sorbonne, and one day after my lectures, I was on my way home and I crossed the Sorbonne courtyard when I saw a gathering of people in the courtyard, and there was a storyteller. He was telling an initiation story from Africa. I sat down, I listened, and it touched my heart, and I thought then the most wonderful thing there is to be in the world must be to be a storyteller. And then I started going to storytelling workshops. It took ages because I was really shy, but after 7 years the shyness kind of wore down a little bit and I started telling stories, and here I am. But French people haven't always eaten frogs. No, it started one day, many centuries ago, where a king asked his cook to cook something extraordinary, unseen, new. And the cook had a hard time finding an idea. So the cook was there in his kitchen, scraping the inside of his nails with his big cutting knife, when all of a sudden a frog landed on his windowsill. And he thought, frog? Yes, that would be new, that would be novel for the king. So that's how the king started to eat frog's legs, and then everybody else in France then got into that fashion too. And I'm gonna bring you to a French restaurant. It was a very grand restaurant, a big mansion with a great land all around it. And in this land were many frogs. And the frogs were having a nice time, they were sunbathing, when all of a sudden they saw the chef, René, come out with his big cooking knife.
I'm looking for any sort of story, traditional, personal, or indeed Irish stories. It doesn't really matter. I'm open to all sorts of stories.
There is tradition of it. I don't know if the activity that's going on now is a direct continuation of the tradition, or maybe a bit like here and in other places. There was a little break and people noticed the lack of it and reintroduced it.
He's lying by the fire, asleep. He lay there so long by the fire, his face became black with soot, and his eyes became bloodshot. And eventually one of the girls in the village said, Hey Ash, you do nothing, don't you? And the name Ash stuck. He became Ash.
Well, I was a painter, and just telling stories for the joy of it, in just at open mic sessions here and there. And then a fellow storyteller just decided to pass me work that she couldn't honor, and she was saying, "Is it okay if I pass work on to you?" I was like, "Okay," and so I was thrown in the water, and yeah, so I became it. I wasn't looking for it, but it came to me.